Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello, you homeschool families out there. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have a chance, head down into the show notes and head on over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. If you're listening for the first time to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you would like, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure those podcasts get directly into your podcast app automatically every Monday when we release, and head on over to YouTube and hit subscribe there, and you'll see our regular curriculum reviews that we are putting out, as well as our vlog as we chronicle our homeschool journey. We have been spending the last few weeks talking about favorite content on various streaming platforms, and we know we have a lot of them, but the one we probably know the most, it's probably been around the longest, has been YouTube. And today we're talking about YouTube. Now, the funny thing is YouTube is owned by Google and parent company Alphabet, I believe. And they are the second largest search engine in the world, basically cataloging all different types of videos and streaming platform as a streaming platform. And you can do videos and movies and educational stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and we want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite things. I am a heavy YouTube user. Ariel will attest to that. We are also YouTube Premium subscribers, so you don't have to have YouTube Premium, but you get stuck watching the ads, and you have some other features as well that are available on YouTube, such as on YouTube Premium, such as like downloading offline content, turning your screen off while the video continues to play, things of that nature. And there's some access to some movies that they have similar to Netflix and things like that. But for me, it's really just the not having to do the ads and being able to flip between videos and figure out the thing that I need. Like, hey, I need to put Ariel's bike together, and I need to see a video on how to put a brake system together, things of that nature. And I don't have time to sit and watch a 1 minute video, an ad in front of everything. So we do YouTube Premium, as well as when I'm doing searching for videos to watch with the girls. I don't want to have to wait and have to sit through an ad and stuff like that to figure out if this was the right video that I wanted to watch with them, if I'm doing research and stuff. So we tend to, as a YouTube Premium users, once you have the premium capabilities, you don't have to do the ads. I tend to use YouTube more than anything else. And I love to save offline videos so that I can have access to them whenever I want. I have music for when I'm writing and things of that nature. I tend to use a lot of white noise. And so I have like 1 hour long white noise tracks that are saved on my phone as well via YouTube. So that's kind of like a lot of cool features and stuff. And
yeah, I think it's our most used resource. I mean, we've talked about before, like if we had to cancel something, like, if everything had to go, what would be the last thing to go? And
I think it would be YouTube.
The YouTube Premium, because we do watch it so much. As you said, you can learn so many things from it. Yeah. We've got our favorite channels. Our kids have some of their favorite channels. And we wanted to take this as a great opportunity to share with you some really terrific resources, not just videos really, but just the whole channel, because I think that's part of the hard thing or the frustrating thing for me with YouTube is how do you find, like, if I know what I'm looking for, like, okay, I can probably find it, right? Yeah, like you said, I want to figure out how to fix this bike or whatever, or put this bike together. Yeah. I mean, you can find that. But in terms of just, organic discovery of some great, like, educational channel or something, it's not that great at that. We like to watch, cooking videos as a family, and our kids like to watch, fun kind of like stunt shows and stuff. And this is just kind of our fun, like, non-educational, just our downtime relaxing thing.
Mr. Beast videos as well.
Right, stuff like that.
Who's the girl who's the Swedish artist?
Nerdforge. They love to watch Nerdforge and watch her build cool, nerdy things. So, I mean, there's lots of, and we like to watch, funny dog compilation videos. It's just silly things, right? That just are good downtime.
Our feed is complicated.
Right. And so, oftentimes we'll decide to watch a little bit of YouTube rather than sitting down to watch a show or a movie because we have a very short amount of time, or more likely, no one can decide what we want to watch. So YouTube is great because it's like, oh, that appeals to me. Let's do that, rather than having to like all agree on a show, which we all really can't usually agree except if it's like Bluey.
Yeah.
So the problem is, though, you've watched a few of these things and then it's going to, suggest stuff to you based on that. And it really clogs up your feed, and it's really hard sometimes to find these quality channels, which is what we were hoping to do today, share with you some of our favorite educational channels that we've come across, especially when you did the Around the World resource guides. If you're going to do any kind of geography or, culture study or anything, you should check that out, because you spent months compiling the best YouTube videos for every country. And in that, you found a ton of really high quality channels.
Exactly, yeah. And if you want to head on over to our Gumroad page, it's linked down below. You can go ahead and check out one of those guides if you're interested, and you can see a lot of those videos that Ariel was talking about. For me, YouTube is kind of that first place I go whenever I'm looking for media, even before any of the other streaming platforms. It's kind of that first place where I was like, oh, we need to do, we're just starting the Around the World journey, and we're going to be having the intro week where we talk about the Earth and everything. And we're going to be watching videos on YouTube about, going around the Earth, watching the ISS go around the Earth, looking at, images from Earth from a distance and things like that. And what better to do that than YouTube, because I know it's going to be there. The other cool thing about YouTube is, and I think we were talking about this on the drive today, we were driving around today, and we were talking about how it's amazing what we thought was, how hard it was to be on TV and to perform and to have high quality, TV hosts and stuff like that. We thought that was a very elusive thing. And I think what YouTube has shown is that there are so many talented people out there who know information about things they know about. Now, there's a lot of people who don't know anything about it, and they pontificate as well, but there are a lot of people who are just really domain experts about really wonky stuff.
Totally. And we were talking about this just today.
Yeah, just today. And we said that, like, it's amazing, like, if you're interested in something, whatever that topic might be, there's going to be a half a dozen to a dozen people on YouTube who literally run an entire channel just talking about that thing. And they will talk about every aspect of it and whatnot. And it's just amazing to see how talented people are and how charismatic they are and how good they are in front of just, what amounts to be an iPhone that's pointed at them. And they put out these videos and they do a little bit of editing, and it's just so incredible. Like Marquise Brown, right? Like, he's a very talented performer and stuff, but like just watching his car videos where he's just holding an iPhone in front of him and he's reviewing a car, and it's just like, and I think it's called autofocus.
So good.
It's so talent. Like, it's so much talent. It's just amazing to watch. And to think that half of these YouTube channels that have like 1 million subscribers, they would never have seen the light of day if it wasn't for YouTube. And what I love about that is that we can dive into those people's passions as they share that with us and learn from that. And that's what a lot of cool things that I'll talk about today is a lot of these are like just, people who just started a show and they're experts in something, or they have a passion about certain types of things, and they have become essentially what, when we were kids, the Discovery Channel would have killed for a show like that, or, the History Channel would have loved this show, or they were all gatekeepers and they never thought this could work. They never thought people would understand or be interested in this. This is too weird. Right? Or these people don't know what they're talking about. Nobody wants to watch this. Meanwhile, they put out a video and, they just got a 500,000 views, which is more than like some cable news networks get every night. Totally. Right? So it's like, it's incredible what people are interested in and what they'll watch, So cool little things like that. And we're so blessed to have YouTube as this platform that we can then leverage to get our kids interested in various topics and whatnot. So we want to begin it like we always do with preschool. Now, this is one we've heard probably, our parents were watching this when they were little kids, Sesame Street for preschoolers. I think This is kind of, if you don't have TV, like we don't have TV, we don't even have the digital antenna thing or anything like that. So we don't get any type of television. And it's really cool, especially with the young kids, to have a really great learning channel just built right in there. It's as if you have PBS just running on loop. Every video I think that Sesame Street comes out with, they even like cut and mash up a lot of their stuff. They put all the songs. They have like
how many times have we all watched Bruno Mars sing "Don't Give Up"?
Yeah, like exactly. and so first one I think you would want to do if you're a young learner and you want to, if you have a young learner and you want to have a YouTube channel that you want to just put them in front of and learn things and just have fun yourself. Sesame Street is probably like the first thing you want to subscribe to. And every one of these channels, if you're not a heavy YouTube user, head on over there and give it a try and search for Homeschool Together and hit the subscribe button.
Subtle plug.
And maybe the second thing you want to subscribe to is I would say is Sesame Street. And I think the Sesame Street is kind of that first one to do. And I think it has legs even beyond preschool.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's just kind of fun and fun and cute and everything. Moving on beyond that is, I think the next step would be PBS Kids.
Right.
So it's kind of like two classic PBS things you would want to subscribe to. PBS Kids will give you TV shows, basically videos, episodes, clips, music, everything you would want to do. I love having that. If you have you want to have your feed just dominated by something, PBS Kids and Sesame Street would be a good one for a toddler. I love those two shows.
Yeah, they're great for our preschooler.
Great for ours.
So another one that we really enjoy for that preschool set is called Katie's Classroom.
Yep.
It's this super fun gal. She's got a guitar.
She started it in the pandemic as well.
Yeah, she plays songs. She does really cool crafts. Our kids absolutely adore Katie's Classroom.
Yep.
So if you want to get into that would be great. I know our kids love the music and she's really engaging. She's got these overalls on.
I think she's from Canada.
I think she's Canadian.
Toronto. I think she's in Toronto. Yeah. She's a really talented young lady. Nice little production level of production there. It was kind of one of the pandemic preschool channels that kind of erupted, and I think she's got 1.5 million subscribers now. Good for her. She's cleaning it up, and she deserves it because she's really good. There's another one we I think a long time ago our kids used to watch it, and it's kind of making a resurgence now.
Yeah, that's Cosmic Kids Yoga.
Yeah, Kids Yoga.
So one thing you have to know about it is that they came out with like an app for it. So the most recent videos are all like little shorts advertising for the app, but all the old videos are still there. And she, I think her name is Jamie, and she does these yoga moves. And
you haven't lived until you've listened to a 30-minute yoga session as she recounts the entire story of Frozen.
Right.
Doing yoga.
Yeah, she's like in a costume with this like cool blue jumper.
Yeah.
And then she's got this digital background, and she does all these yoga moves, and she tells these stories, and she's got all kinds of different ones. I'm looking around. She got like
Star Wars,
My Little Pony, Moana.
She does a great job.
She has Harry Potter.
Almost no cuts too. She's very talented.
Pokemon yoga, Caterpillar yoga. These are so fun. Everybody, like if you haven't done Cosmic Kids yoga yet, we like it for just a good brain break. It's funny actually, when we were in Florida just a couple months ago, our kids were doing Cosmic Kids yoga because it was like it was a thunderstorm day. It was lightning outside, and we couldn't go out, and they were kind of bouncing off the walls, and so we were like, let's just pull this up. And man, Jamie did not disappoint. And it had been a while since we had watched her.
But it all came rushing back
for
her
oldest. It did. And so, that's a really fun one if you haven't done something like that to just get your body moving. Definitely check out the old episodes of Cosmic Kids.
And we're kind of foodies, so moving on to food. One of the ones that I like is called Tasting History. And this is a great kind of educational cooking class. And this gentleman, he essentially cooks foods from different periods in history, gives you kind of a history lesson of that time and the people and the importance of that food and what that food meant, and maybe kind of variations on what that food was like then, and how he kind of gets the recipe. So sometimes he's cooking foods that there is no recipe. They're just trying to
But he's kind of trying to, like solve it, like a mystery.
Yeah,
okay, well, it would have been, based on what we know, it was something like this. And this is the kind of materials they would have had available to them, and the ingredients and the equipment. And here's kind of what we think. And then he makes it.
And then he makes it and then tries it.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't taste very good.
Right. Sometimes it does not come out well. But you get a ton of history in this. He's really engaging.
The videos are about 20 minutes long. They're really good.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job with it. So I really like, we've really enjoyed that one as we were doing our ancient Civ. There was a
He
few
has a
of
bunch
them.
of ancient Civ ones. Yeah,
There's
really
a few
good.
of them that we were able to tag on to. So that's fun if you like food at all. That is a great one.
Absolutely. There's another one there. We have two channels that we tend to go to nowadays, and it's Brian Langerstorm and Cooking with Claudia.
Yeah, Cooking con Claudia.
Cooking con Claudia.
Those are our favorite ones to watch, like as a family.
Right now.
They're just cooking shows. There's nothing like for kids specifically on them. They're just
I
one's a Mexican cooking show and one is just a kind
Everything,
of
yeah.
everything.
But Brian does a really good job, I think, as explaining the cooking process a lot better, and kind of going into that depth of like, why they make certain choices and trying different variations. We really enjoy watching that one. Moving on to science and nature, I think is going to be a big one here. So I'll try to just run through them. The first one I think is a lot of people have probably seen a couple of his videos, but this is Mark Roper. And he's famous for, and he'll tell you all the time, he used to work at NASA. He's famous for the glitter bomb porch pirate video. If you may have seen that go around a couple of years ago, he made videos for a long video about making a glitter bomb where people would steal stuff off the porches, and then they would open it up and it'd be all this glitter coming in. But he runs a channel where he does a lot of these science projects, and he has like kind of like a team of people who do challenges, and sometimes he does the challenges with them and talks about the science and the educational concepts around the challenges and the things that they're doing. And then he kind of sometimes disappears and the people kind of take it over. And it's just a very fun, light show. He does have like kind of like a subscription box service now. That's kind of a box of science materials, and you do a project very similar to like the Kiwi boxes that we've done in the past. And you get, I think, the box sent to you every month, and you get to do a bunch of science projects. So he kind of pushes that on the channel. And that looks kind of interesting. I think we might want to try that coming up maybe in the year or so. But his channel is really, really good. I really enjoy that one. Another one out there is called Science Max. Now this is like a 1 hour show, and this could be a little long, but you can watch it in kind of chunks. And it's basically this like goofy guy, and he's very funny, but he does a great job at teaching science concepts. Think of it as like Bill Nye the Science Guy for the TikTok generation. I don't know, something like that. He's kind of like he's got a Bill Nye feel to him, but more goofy and more silly. But he does a really good job at teaching these concepts, and it's great for early learners. Really fun, really engaging, really fun, and that's called Science Max. The next one I like is my man Hank Green, and I call it the Hank Green Empire.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff.
There's two guys here that I'm going to recommend today, and they all have their empires. Hank has been around for a long time. He's been on a lot of YouTube channels. And if you're a big, before we move on to the next one, if you're a big PBS Eons fan, and we'll talk about that one next, he used to be on PBS Eons. And I don't know if he was doing his vlog at the same time, but he was really, really good on PBS Eons. And we watched a lot of his videos when we were doing the prehistory stuff. And then I realized I started getting recommended videos from his, the Vlog Brothers channel that he has with his older brother, who looks just like him, but like a little bit older. He might be his older brother. And they do kind of a current events type of show. It's not really something I would do for like early learners, but maybe for like middle schoolers. He has that show. And then he has his own show. And then he used to be on this other channel called SciShow, where he would do videos as well. And I don't think he's doing that one anymore, but he was on that. I think that might've been his first show. And then he went on to PBS Eons, something like that. But this dude's been around a long time.
Bunch of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. He has millions of subscribers, puts out videos all the time, and he's very, very, very good in front of the camera. Very fun, and I like him. He kind of has a science bent and tech bent to what he does, but he also does kind of like current event stuff as well. So there's that. But also he has a channel called Journey to the Microcosmos, which is a really cool. Imagine if you just put a camera up to a microscope, and you're just watching the micro world play out, and there's just him voiceovering on the top of it, and there's no like cuts, there's no graphics, and they're just explaining what this bacteria is doing, or this little microcellular, multicellular organism is doing, and that type of thing. Really fun. So if you're trying to explore the small with your student, check out his show called The Journey to the Microcosmos, which is really fun, really cool show.
That's really neat.
I talked about PBS Eons. We talked about PBS Kids. PBS in general is just tremendous.
Yeah, there's great stuff on
Great stuff there for learning. But PBS Eons is just, man, I really fell in love with this channel during our prehistory thing, our curriculum that we did. I would just sit there and watch these videos. I'm like, yeah, let's watch the next one. Let's watch the next one. They're great, like 6, 7, 8 minute long videos. Hank was on there. There's another guy who's kind of like a muscular guy. And then there's this girl on there, and I don't remember their names. I'm so sorry, but she is really good, and Hank was really good. And there's just a bunch of people on this show that just do an absolutely tremendous job. And they also do a lot of YouTube shorts. And so if you don't know what YouTube shorts are, there's essentially YouTube's version of TikTok or Instagram's Reels. And a lot of channels will put out shorts as well. And we've done a couple of them on our channel. And they're basically 1 minute videos. I think they can get up to a minute and a half now. I think it's still capped at a minute. I think TikTok and Instagram have longer caps. But these are basically short 30-second, 40-second, 1 minute long videos teaching a concept. And on the PBS Eons channel, they have these great YouTube shorts where they're just teaching a single concept or something new that they just discovered. There's been a new paper that talks about this. And they do a great job at explaining that. And a lot of times they're just doing these videos from like their office or, their office at home and the personalities that are on the show. And they just pitch this concept. It's really good. I really, really recommend that one. I have 2 other channels that are kind of sciencey. One is called Minute Physics and the other one's called Minute Earth. And one of them talks about Earth and the other one talks about kind of science concepts, but physics in general. And these are just tremendous, fun videos, and they're as advertised about a minute long. Some of them about a minute, 2 minutes long, animated videos that show a certain concept. And I really, really respect people who do really good animation to teach a concept, because a lot of times talking about something or drawing something on the board doesn't necessarily come through, especially with the younger kids. And I find any type of visually animated thing, and I'll talk about another channel coming up here as well that does a lot of animations. But animations can just do an amazing job at pushing forward a concept, especially with science, especially with like geography, physics, chemistry, things of that nature. It just transcends explaining something or even just watching a science experiment, because you can just show what's happening, especially at if you're talking about, a chemistry level, you're talking about atoms interacting and things of that nature. It's really hard to see that when you're explaining it, but if you can watch it and as an animation, I think the concept comes through.
Yeah.
So those 2 channels are really cool. So that's Minute Physics and Minute Earth.
And
now
we're going to have links to all of these in the show notes. You don't have to take notes, everyone.
Totally another one that's really popular is called, I always screw this one up, but it's called Veritasium.
Veritasium, yeah.
Yeah. Now this is I would call this a middle school to high school level YouTube channel. The gentleman on this show is just amazing. High information, very complex, but something that I enjoy with YouTube channels when I'm learning something that I don't know, and you're learning from a channel that's not dumbing it down, it's a joy to watch. Even though I don't understand everything that I'm listening to or seeing, there's something really cool about having concepts thrown at you in a very easy to understand way. Even if you don't get everything, you can watch it again and get it. And Veritasium does this, and just no rhyme or reason on what subject is covered that month or that week, but just deeply complex knowledge, very fun shows, does a great job at explaining it. High production value. We're talking, network television level production value on these shows. Really love it. So this Veritasium, check out a couple of videos. I'll link probably one of my favorite videos there was a video he did about this one type of equation, and it was like the start of fractals and understanding fractals and everything. And it's just really, really complex, but really fun to watch. Just a beautiful piece of content that was put out. I just loved it. Next one here is, again, staying with PBS, is Nature on PBS. Now, this is basically short form videos about animals. And so if you have an animal lover and you're looking to kind of, accent that, and not as much of the like, nature is metal type of thing where animals are being eaten and stuff, but a lot of great short form 3, 4, 5 minute videos about certain animals, about aspects of certain animals, different biomes, things of that nature. We're going to be hitting this, I think, a lot in our Coming Around the World journey where we're looking up animals in certain areas. So that would be Nature on PBS. If you have a learner who's a little bit older, maybe middle school, high school level, who loves numbers and loves math, Numberphile is that channel. It basically is, it's to, gosh, I don't even know if maybe it's like what Veritasium is for a scientist, like a physicist or a chemist. Numberphile is that same channel for a mathematician, somebody who loves math or loves programming or loves computation, things of that nature. Numberphile is that thing where they talk about really complex math concepts, but in a very fun and engaging way. Some like kind of first-person interviews of really good mathematicians or good scientists who are talking about math concepts. Numberphile is that one. Another one that I really love, and there's just something about this, and I know it's my inner geek coming out, but it's called Black Pen, Red Pen. It's a gentleman who sits in front of a whiteboard and just solves problems, solves equations, talks about math concepts. And the whole time he's carrying a microphone in his hand. Sometimes it looks like a Pokemon ball from Pokemon. Other times it looks like something else. And sometimes he just has a little microphone that he holds up to his mouth. And he has 2 multicolored pens. And so he's solving part of the equation, flips over to the other pen, and showing the changes that he's doing as he's flowing through the math problem. There's just something amazing when you are watching a good mathematician solving even simple problems. He'll solve, here's me doing 10 hours of integrals, and then he'll do a simple algebra problem. And same level of delivery in both circumstances, and you can follow along. He's explaining it. Now, he speaks really fast, so you got to sometimes maybe go on YouTube and scrub down the speed a little bit, maybe to 3/4 speed or something of that nature. But does a great job at explaining it. And there's just something about, I have a lot of nostalgia of watching really good mathematicians in college and in high school sitting at whiteboards solving problems. And I know, but I just love that. And so there's this chance. I know. And so it's called Black Pen, Red Pen.
But I think that's really good if there's a topic that's specifically like kind of eluding you. You're trying to come up with another way to present it. It's great to, basically be able to like dial up a lecture on, with example problems. Yep.
Another one I really like is called Domain of Silence. This is Science. Domain of Silence. Domain of Science. This is really beautifully well done, Veritasium-like science videos. He makes a lot fewer videos, so they're like kind of spaced out. But some of his videos, they're about 20, 30 minutes long, just beautifully done. A lot of infographics. And I love, as I said before,
we love the infographics.
A lot of graphics, a lot of infographics. So if you have a chance, you can dive into that. That's more for an older learner. I would almost say that's high school level in the way the information's put forward. But that's a really good one. I really enjoy that one. Another one for your engineer that you may have is B1M. Now, B1M is, I found this doing the around, I think it was the Around the World videos.
Yeah, the resource guides.
And I was always trying, when I was trying to look for videos, I was always trying to look for culture. I was trying to look for music. I was trying to look for travel. I was trying to look for famous locations, tour guides. But I was also looking at trying to showcase different countries doing amazing things. And sometimes amazing things are shown up in engineering feats, building a giant port, building a new bridge, super tall skyscraper, building an underground tunnel through the mountain. Cool things like this where you're just showing a country working hard to make their country really cool and showing it through these cool mega projects. And B1M, just the letter B, the number 1M, is a great example of that. You can find so many cool engineering projects where they walk you through, it's like a 20-minute micro documentary about this thing they're trying to do. One of my favorite ones is talking about Saudi Arabia building the giant, linear city that's made of like glass, and they're going to put it in the middle of the desert. Those are really cool in the watch.
Oh yeah, I love those type of videos.
Just amazing. If you're ever a fan of like mega projects on
those are so cool.
on Discovery Channel a long time ago, and he just enjoyed them watching, like, okay, we're building an oil platform in the North
We used
Sea.
to watch those just for fun. That was like, I remember when we'd like DVR those way back in the day when we DVR'd things.
TiVo.
We would TiVo them and then we would watch them later. So for the younger kids, wanted to just remind everybody about, like, obviously we know about National Geographic, but Nat Geo Kids is a really great channel. Lots of very short videos about animals and other science concepts. And then Khan Academy, which, Khan Academy originally started on YouTube, and now we think of it more in terms of apps. There's Khan Academy app and Khan Academy Kids. So Khan Academy has a few different channels. They've got Khan Academy and Khan Academy Kids. And the kids one is going to be, that's going to start even at preschool level. There's videos specifically about letters and numbers, so it starts with really early concepts and that grows really nicely. So if you haven't checked that out, obviously it's a great app, but if you don't want to do the app-based thing and you just want to watch videos, that's a really good channel to subscribe to.
Yeah. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on science and nature and a little bit of mathematics as well. Going into social studies, a big channel that I like is called Big Think. They have like millions and millions of views. What's really cool about it is, I think going forward, there's going to be this kind of this rejection of the short form content that tends to dominate culture, especially in the social media, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, things of that nature. And I think people are looking to slow down, looking for more experts. They don't want to just like get the dopamine response of a 30-second video. I think there's a want and a craving and a need for longer form expert like content where people are enjoying lectures or listening to people explain their concepts, not getting that 3 or 4 minute soundbite type of thing, but they want to listen for 20, 25, 30 minutes and want to hear somebody walk through their thinking or walk through something that they're an expert in.
Well, I think we're seeing that there's room for both.
There's
right?
room for both.
Not that the short form is ever going to go away,
no, I don't
but
think so.
That audiences do have are willing to have longer attention spans for really good quality content.
Exactly, and Big Think is a good example of that. There are a lot of experts, a lot of interviews, great production value. I like this, and there's a lot of cross subjects. So it doesn't mean you have to watch every video, but you might be able to find something in a certain area of expertise or concepts. So people have big ideas. If you think like kind of a TED Ed type of thing or a TEDx type of thing where the famous TED conferences where people are just like putting out really out there ideas and letting people think, and you bounce off of ideas and you get new ideas, and just kind of this old idea of the old salon back in the day where people would think about things and you could be wrong and it's okay, and we're going to you're going to make an argument it's wrong, and here I'm going to help you come this way. But in that process, we all learn something different and we all think in a little different way.
Neat.
I always love that kind of velocity of exchanging of ideas, and Big Think is a good example of that. A channel that I absolutely adore. I adore this channel. It's called The Great Big Story. Talking about short form content. A lot of times, with our younger learners, they only got a couple minutes and they want to move on to that next thing. And I love documentaries that are in short form. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. That like really compressed thing.
Yeah, that subtitle. It's funny you were just talking about like the long form, and now we're going to the short form.
We're going back to short form, and you're right. It's both as good. I don't think our learners are yet at that long form enjoyment. This is a perfect channel for culture, food, history, geography, experiencing people of different countries and different cool things. I littered our guides, our around the world guides, with a lot of great big story videos. They just do such a good job in that 3, 4, 5 minute, short form content that showcases something. They don't have to tell a big story. Sometimes it's just about a person or a thing that happens in this city or in this country or with this type of people. I love it. It's cross-cultural. They're short videos. Unbelievable production value, mostly clean. I only ran into like 1 or 2 videos here and there where maybe the content was meant to be for kind of a middle school level or something of that nature, but I never felt like any of the great big story videos I couldn't show my 8-year-old or something like that. It was just really cool. I love the slice of life documentary style things and just seeing people all around the world doing really cool stuff. It's just a lot of fun, and seeing people be passionate about things all around the world in different places, I think is just a cool experience for a young kid to see the different variety and awesomeness around the world. Next one is a guy, I think he just stopped his channel, but he's been putting out a video for almost like 12 years. It may be even more, But this is Tom Scott, and talk about a guy who was like, just has the it factor in front of the camera. He's a British guy, he's not Henry Cavill. He's not this, doesn't have the voice of Walter Cronkite or anything like that, the gravitas or anything. But man, does this dude make just unbelievable videos. He's so good, so charismatic, so compelling, and it's just anything. He goes all around the world, makes these wonderful, beautiful videos that are all like 7 or 8 minutes long, teaching you about a weird elevator or going to meet this person who does this cool thing or this cool experience. He's such an amazing content creator. Unfortunately, I think he's stopped, or he's going to like only do videos sparsely, but he's been putting out basically a video a week for forever. Just an amazing guy. Tom Scott. Next one I kind of talked about earlier was the TED Ed videos.
This is one of my favorites actually, because I love the good infographic, and the TED Ed videos tend to be pretty short. They're like usually that sub
4 or
10
5
minutes. Yeah, usually closer to 5 minutes. They'll always go into, some specific topic. There's lots of history topics on TED Ed. And
a lot of mythology topics as well. So if you're a big folklore and mythology family, you'll find a ton of wonderful videos there as well.
And there's some sciencey concepts or some, things that kids want to understand and, may have difficulty understanding. And they have such great graphics and things that they're just really engaging short form videos. I think whenever, we see something come up, I'm always like, oh man, I hope they have a TED Ed video on this, because I know it's going to give me the information that I need in a pretty short package. That's going to be very engaging.
Very engaging. And our girls love them. Next one here is kind of an interesting one. I stumbled upon this. One of the things with the Around the World journey that I always loved to pull up is geography, because you can tell so much cool stuff through geography and cultural things and differences of, between different groups of people or different countries, ways people have, evolved over time to handle certain types of, geographical situations, whether it's a desert or whatever. You could have people right next door living on these high plains in the Andes in Peru, and then just down the slope is, the Amazon, and they're maybe 30 or 40 miles apart, but they have wildly different lives and stuff. So you can tell a lot of cool stories and differences between people through the idea of this idea of like geography. And so this channel that I really liked, that kept coming up, and every time a video would pop up, I would just start playing it and I would just keep watching and I wouldn't stop watching. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I've been watching this for 20 minutes. It's called Real Life Lore. And I don't know how to describe this channel other than it's like geography and cool things about different countries, different places of the world. Just wonderful infomercials with great B-roll.
Infomercials?
Yeah, basically. I don't know how to describe.
Or are they selling something or?
No. It's not infomercials, but like infographics.
Oh, okay. I was going to say infomercials.
Yeah, that was the wrong word. It's infographics, and then they have like wonderful B-roll and just footage of wherever, and there's a voiceover talking about this concept. And like the best way I could put it is it's like there's some of these videos where it's like Australia, right? You have Australia, and it's like the highlight of the card of the video would be like 95% of people in Australia live right here in this sliver, right? And then the rest of the country is empty. Why is this the way it is, right? And then they go into and start to answer that question, why is most of this country's population here, or why are there no people living here, or why are there a bunch of people living right here but not right here? Because the river floods in this way and it doesn't flood in this way, that type of thing. Why are these mountains so tall? Things of that nature. Just so interesting. And I know you just geek out and you think, like, how can you watch 20 minutes of this? And it's so good. Whoever runs that channel, man, I'm giving you a big high five. Next thing I like is like kind of skills videos. Man,
I like the skills videos too.
There are, I don't know about your kids, but my kids love these videos, and it's
watching people do different
things,
tasks and things. Yeah,
there's a lot of them out there, but the famous one I think is called Primitive Technology, where it's a young man, and man, he's as talented in video editing as he is in the things he does. So he builds, very obviously what he said, primitive technology. And I believe he slowly built up from sticks and stones to like a kiln and started making metal. But he did it all in a very slow manner. And
Yeah,
he's
our
like,
kids love to watch these kind of videos.
then there's other ones out there.
And give some great ideas.
I'll see if I can find them, but sometimes I don't know if they're from Thailand or they're from Vietnam or something like that, or somewhere in like Southeast Asia.
They build all kinds of different stuff.
They build these like crazy, pools and these underground houses.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Just so wild, and they're so good to watch, and they're so entertaining.
Well,
and so talented.
It's really interesting to watch. It gives you
carve like a house-sized pool, and build these like little islands in the center, and then they fill it with water, and then they go swimming, and they make some food, and then they just enjoy themselves. It's wild.
I think it's really cool. It gives our kids an interesting perspective, and to see like, wow, look what you can do without all the big equipment and things. And so it's kind of a cool perspective.
Exactly. And then there's another channel that I enjoy watching, is a woodworking channel. And I'm going to screw up his name. Aaron Reardon, I think is his name. He is, I was getting him on the YouTube shorts for a long time. And then I started following his channel.
The Irish Woodworker. He's
currently
from Bunratty Castle.
He's currently at Bunratty Castle, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, we just missed him when we were there because they didn't have everything open yet. It was only April when we were there last year.
I would have demanded to be in one of his YouTube shorts. He would have shown this video. He's like, there's this crazy American who's just sitting over here, staring at me. But he's so cool. He
uses traditional techniques to do woodworking.
Yep.
And so that's, again, if you want to get a picture into history, I think a couple of these channels can give you some good glimpses of what things were like.
Yep. Another one that I'm getting really hot into right now. I like this guy a lot. Everyday home repairs.
Well, yeah. So if we're trying to teach our kids a lot of practical skills and things as we homeschool them. So it's not just the standard educational subjects, but also things like, as our kids get older, how to take care of their home, how to take care of their car, how to
install a picture frame, to, pressure wash your driveway.
Right. We kind of want them to be, when we send them off into the world, and we want them to be capable individuals. And what we realized is, being homeowners, this is the second home we have owned, and we have no idea how to take care of things. We have no idea how to clean things properly, just because it was just something we weren't really ever taught. It's like, I don't know how to do, X, Y, Z. I don't want to call my dad to drive 4 hours to help me change a faucet or whatever. So this guy is great. Yeah, this everyday home repairs. He explains things really simply, and it's very compelling and gives you the cost of the project and how to do it. And so it's been nice because when we've had things to do, we've been able to then get our older daughter to be like, okay,
let's watch the video together.
Let's watch the video and let's figure out how we're going to do this together. 100%. And then, hopefully the goal is when she's out on her own, she'll be able to say, oh, she may not remember how to,
pressure wash the driveway.
Right. Or how to, change a faucet in a sink, but I know I can go find that.
Yeah.
I know I'm capable of doing that. I don't need to, maybe call a special person. I can probably figure it out. So I like, building capabilities.
Exactly. So moving on to history. Now there are an absolute billion.
Oh, there's an ocean of history channels
and everything.
Many.
But
including, I think, the History Channel has a YouTube channel that's probably amazing.
They do. One of the channels that I really have enjoyed a lot was there was called The Great War. So it's a history channel about World War One. They also did World War II, and I think they're just now starting the Korean War. So if you're looking for military history for the 20th century, this is a great channel. What was really cool about it is they started the Great War channel 100 years after the start of World War One. And so it was in 2014, I think they started this channel. And then they just followed the war every single day. And they put out a video every single day.
Where the troops moved.
Where the troops moved on this day 100 years ago. And what happened on that day. And then they did expos on famous people in the war or famous conflicts and whatever. And they tracked it every single day.
They're so well done,
until 2018 when the war, it'd been 4 years and the war ended, then they ended the channel and stopped. And I think they still put out some additional videos after that. And then they started up the World War II channel, and they've been going for years now in lockstop every single day.
And the videos aren't super long.
No, they're all about 8 to 10 minutes long.
Right.
And
So you could watch multiple of them in a day if you were
trying to binge and
if you were trying to
up.
kind of move through. But if you wanted to do a longer study on one of these wars and really understand how impactful it was, I think something like this would be very cool to do when our girls are in high school. We want to do like a deep dive. We can say like, this is what this was like.
I don't think it's anything for an early learner. I definitely think it's for probably
high school.
I don't think middle school. I would say more high school level.
High school, easily.
Absolutely. And the host is named Indy Nidell, and he's really good. He does a great job, and he's got a whole like suite of channels now where they talk about different stuff. So definitely recommend the Great War. That was for World War I, and then they had the World War II channel, and I think they're starting a new one as well. Next one I have is called The Fall of Civilizations. Now, this only has about like a dozen, maybe 24 videos, but they're all like mega documentaries, 4-5 hours long, about these fallen civilizations, and they just do an unbelievable job. It's just beautiful, absolutely riveting. Great. Now you got to eat it in little pieces. You can't just sit down and binge, a 4-hour documentary. This is very much in line with like kind of like a Ken Burns style of telling long form documentaries about history. I absolutely love this channel. I watched a couple of the videos when we were doing the ancient civilizations, and they're awesome. They're just not for early learners. Definitely high school level, college level as well.
Yeah.
Now there are an absolute ton of silly animated history channels.
Yeah, there are.
There are a lot of them. But probably one of the most popular ones is called Oversimplified. And I would say this is middle school plus. Some of the jokes, there are jokes in there kind of inappropriate for young kids. And so you definitely want to watch that one. But Oversimplified is a good one. And then Kings and Generals. Kings and Generals is probably better for younger kids, but I just think it goes over their head.
Yeah, there's nothing inappropriate in it. It's just it would be better for, high school, probably middle high school.
Yeah.
But Kings and Generals is excellent, and the videos aren't a lot of them aren't super long.
No.
They have some really great. So if you want to understand,
and they have really good shorts as well.
Right, the battles and movements and things like that. That's a great one.
Next one as well, but this would be kind of an audio version of a video. So this would be the Dan Carlin podcast, Hardcore History, if you're interested in that. And he also has a second channel, I think, called Hardcore History Addendum as well. They come out very sporadically.
But they are absolutely fabulous. Each time he releases one, it's like 6 hours or something. But it is a deep dive into a topic.
He's just starting Alexander right now. So he had danced around it with a series that he'd done a long time ago called King of Kings. And then he did a Hardcore History Addendum podcast on Alexander's mother. So he's been dancing around Alexander, but he's finally starting his big Alexander show right now.
The shows that he does are so riveting, and they have so much, the way he describes things, you can feel like you're on the battlefield. Like you understand, like if you've got a long car drive or something, this would be a great thing to listen to.
Lots of lawns to mow.
Yeah. I mean, these are very compelling. They are long form.
Yep.
But the next one I wanted to talk about was, it's a weird channel name. It's Crow's Eye Productions, but basically it's the Getting Dressed series. Yep. So our daughter is very into fashion, and she's into sewing and all that stuff. And this channel has a series all about how people got dressed at different times in history, like how they got dressed in the Tudor era and different levels of society and all the different like layers and the way their clothes were done. And they actually show somebody like getting dressed. Here's how a man would dress in the Middle Ages, right? And this is how is all the things that would go on and stuff. They are fascinating.
They are really good.
And they also have a series about taking a walk in, like here's a walk in, Jane Austen's England, or what Pride and Prejudice England, I think is one of the ones they have. And it gives you kind of a good glimpse into kind of everyday life of history. So we really like that channel. Absolutely.
Moving on, there's a bunch of channels that I would deem to be multi-subjects. First one that I really like, it's more for middle school and above. And if I were going to put a thumb on, I would say definitely high school. It is a show called Rare Earth. And it's just, I don't know how to describe the channel. It's sort of like you have a tour guide through history, but also through geography and culture. And he does these epically amazing, unbelievably well-produced, thoughtful, essay-like productions. And he's in the show. A lot of these shows don't have like a person who's like, in the middle of the show and, staring at a camera. he's in the show periodically, but he does this great, the way he structures what he says is almost like an essay, and he's thoughtful, and he's talking about the concept, whatever he's covering, through time and the gravity of that, of its weight through time and culture. I love his shows. There's just no, like, you can't really just pinpoint it. Oh, this is a history show, or this is a culture show. It's kind of everything. And I just love how the show presents information, and it's just very literary and very deep and thoughtful and well thought out. I just enjoy it. It's called Rare Earth. I really love the show. It's really good. Getting on, we had the Hank Green Empire. Now we're going to talk about the Simon Whistler ecosystem. Simon Whistler is has a buttery smooth British voice. His voice is as smooth as the scalp of his head, which it looks like all his hair is migrated to his beard. He has a perfect beard, smooth scalp, amazing voice, and he has about 800 YouTube channels. I don't know how he does this.
Yeah.
He is so good at presenting information. This man, like, I don't know how to describe it, but Simon is just so good at telling a story. His delivery is just so interesting. Again, middle school, high school level, definitely put it up in there. Definitely not for early learners. Some of his videos are kind of fun, depending on what channel you're watching. So maybe an early learner could do it enjoy that. He delivers information, cuts to B-roll, maybe some infographic, comes back, tells more information. Just amazing. His shows are so good. Ones that I enjoy the most is Mega Projects, where he talks about, obviously, mega projects. And then he has another show called Side Projects, which is, again, it's kind of all over the place. But he talks about engineering, science, technology, history, geography, the weirdness of the world. I mean, he does such a great job. And he's always putting out a video, like, on every single channel every week.
Yeah, very prolific.
He's very prolific. He must have a huge team behind him. And deservedly enough, he's so good in front of the camera. Simon Whistler is really good. If you have a chance, check out his stuff. Those were the two channels, but he has about a dozen other channels. You can probably find them all. Last one that I have is one that I really like. It's a silly show. It's called The Y-Files. And what this one is it's very interesting. The guy who does the show, I can't remember his name, but it's both in podcast form and also on a YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel I think the podcast is literally just the audio of the YouTube channel, just pumped out as a podcast. But basically it's him sitting in like kind of a room, and he has this goldfish that's in a I don't know, it's called like a fish bowl or something, and it's animated, and it's called the heckle fish. And he tells he does this amazing job at telling something that's weird, strange, conspiracy, aliens, whatever it might be. Okay, I know you're sitting there going, Matt, where are you going with this? The way he presents it, he tells the information, and you start to believe, oh yeah, man, the moon is hollow, or yeah, there's been aliens here for all these years. Of course there have. And he tells you all this information, like, oh, did you know there was an Apollo 18 landing on the moon? No. The last one was Apollo 17. No, there was a secret mission, and they did this, and they found an alien here, and they did this on the moon, and all these things. And you're going along with it going, wow, this is being told in a very compelling, and he's giving facts, and he's citing this, and he's citing that. And then at the end, he unpacks it and shows how this piece wasn't true. This piece wasn't true, or this piece is an exaggeration. And the thing that I just told you and I convinced you was real may have a real expation to it.
Right. Which is kind of cool in an age when we all have to be very discerning about
and he does
what we believe.
But he'll acknowledge the times where we don't know everything, right? That type of thing. And maybe there are some areas to investigate and things like that. But he talks about weird stuff, science and weird conspiracy stuff and that type of thing, like aliens and this type of stuff. And it's fun. It's entertaining. It's an enjoyable, beautiful production value.
I think it's cool because it's kind of a critical thinking one.
The Y-Files is a great critical thinking show.
It would be great for middle and high school.
Absolutely middle and high school. I don't think a young kid would understand what's going on.
No.
Unless you want to, talk about alien lore, and I'm all for that. But I really enjoy this show. I love how he convinces you that not maybe doesn't convince you, but takes you along on a journey.
Well, yeah,
that it seems convincing.
Right. And there's, I think we're in an age when there's a lot of like data, and there's a lot of ways to manipulate that data to go along with whatever, the perspective is of the person that's presenting the data. And so it's nice to see like, okay, well, here's how we can manipulate it to look like this. But actually but
he doesn't overtly tell you that. He just begins to unravel it. And at the end you go, oh, that was really entertaining to listen to the whole show.
Yeah.
But I should have been better at, going along with the information. But he doesn't like mock you or
no, he doesn't.
He doesn't like push you away from being interested in something that might be a little strange, right? Or a little different, that type of thing. It's just a really well done show. It's called The Y-Files. I really enjoy that one. Been listening to that one for a little while. So
yeah, these are, as you can tell, a lot of these are, going to be for slightly older kids. Of course, we've got some that are going to be fine for, earlier learners, elementary learners, but there's a lot of great shows here. If you have some older learners, or you yourself, as you can hear, Matt's watched most of these channels. I've watched a few of them. And so we hope that this was a cool list. And if you'd like to head on to the Facebook group or leave a comment below if there's a
show that you like, that your kids enjoy.
Yeah. If there's just a channel that you love, because I think it's really hard to find really great channels because there are so many, and there's gold mixed in with garbage on YouTube, and you can't just tell by the number of views it has whether it's good or not. So yeah, let's crowdsource some great ideas. I think this was a really good start, and hopefully this was helpful for everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook, and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!